She's a very sweet girl, very social, very happy girl. She's always smiling, even in the hospital when she's very sick. She always finds a way to smile.
Uma was only 2 when she was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And despite countless rounds of chemotherapy over the last couple of years, she's never lost her spark, even in hospital.
As soon as she got a bit of energy, she'd jump on the chair, put stickers on the wall, playing with Barbies. Everybody's sick of playing with Barbies because nobody can stand more than 2 hours playing with Barbies.
She can play 24 hours non-stop. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I bet the nurses love her though, that she's got that energy.
Yeah. Oh, she's like, everyone loves her in the hospital.
Everybody knows.
Everyone, yeah.
In any event, the chemo worked. But in May this year, the family received another devastating blow.
She was like almost to the end of these 2 years when she relapsed again. So she already went through a big journey with chemotherapy. It wasn't like just a few days.
I think we were just starting to see the light in the end of the tunnel.
Uma was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, a more aggressive cancer, probably triggered by her chemo treatment. Her only hope of survival is a bone marrow transplant. But in her case, Medicare won't cover the cost, $300,000.
So has it been a moment where you've thought we're going to have to go back to Italy to do the treatment?
Yeah.
It was a moment where we said, well, what will we do? But then the day after she had seizures, so it was like a sign and say, look, what?
I got scared to put this kid on the hair plan, and I think that is not fair. It's not fair.
Especially when her whole medical journey has been in one place already.
You got it. Exactly. Uma was born here. She was in the Royal Children's Hospital for 2 years. The doctors know her, the nurses know her. She knows the place. It's like a second home.
7 years ago, Giuseppe and Lucia came to Australia as students. They now run their own business, but neither are Australian citizens, and they were advised they'd be refused permanent residency because of Uma's failing health. Despite being born here, she is not eligible for Medicare benefits.
So how do you feel when you hear them say, your daughter's going to cost too much to the community?
It's not nice. I mean, he's been working he made up his own business. He's giving jobs to Australians. He's paying the taxes. We did everything we could to be, by the book and, to make this country better, to be a good part of the community, not a bad part.
Despite its devastating effects, chemo is the only way of keeping Uma alive for a transplant. So far, most of her treatments have been covered by Giuseppe's private health insurance.
But bone marrow transplants aren't cheap, and the hospital needed $120,000 before they could secure a donor.
It's kind of stressful when you got a sick child. Obviously, you would like to focus just on...
It's already stressful when you have a sick child.
Their friends and the local community have rallied around them, raising more than $150,000 through a GoFundMe.
We had so much support, so much from the people.
And what are you hoping for Uma?
The best scenario, of course,
that she deserves.
Yeah, exactly. To just be a normal little girl and be able to do, ride her pony and go to the swimming pool, go to the school. I belong to you. You belong to me. Forever. Forever.
And when times are tough, Lucia holds on to one particular conversation with her little girl. Very sick from chemo, but still concerned about her mum.
She was during the night very sick, like vomiting and, with temperature. And she just looked at me and said, I'm not flying to the sky, Mum. Don't worry. I'm staying with you. So it's like, it's like she was trying to make me feel better, Wow.
When I first heard about this story, I just couldn't understand how a child born in Australia didn't have access to Medicare, and I didn't understand that until 1986, babies who were born in Australia were automatically Australian citizens. But all that changed, and now one or both parents needs to be an Australian citizen, or the child must live here until they're 10 before they can access the Medicare.
Wow.
So It's a really tricky situation, you know, and not to apply for the permanent residency because they can't because Uma's sick and they won't be granted it. So just wait till she's better, but then she's relapsed. So it's just a really, really hard situation.
Is it possible though that, you know, because he runs a business and would employ a whole lot of people, whatever, that they might get a good result?
I don't know.
Like that
I mean,
would
obviously
offset
they have their own lawyers who've been trying. They've been trying to do everything they can, doing it all by the book to make sure that, you know, they get the best possible chance for Uma. There is a little bit of good news that Uma has secured a donor and the transplant is set to take place next month. There's a long road ahead though, and they need to raise half the cost of the procedure still. So if you do want to help Uma and her family, head to the GoFundMe page. All the details are on our screen now, and yeah, help the family if you can. Yeah, it's a really tough situation.
Indeed. All the best to them.